Hey buddy, can I get 3 shots of tequila for those girls and a shot of water with salt and lime for me? Hang on, I need to make a call. Who you calling? Chris Hansen, 'cause you're a fucking predator. What can I get you? Drunk? Welcome to episode 16 of Behind Bars, Cocktails, and Wasted Nights. I'm your host, Greg. I've been working as a bartender for over 20 years, and over those years, I've seen a lot. My goal here is to share some of those high and low lights with you. Quick warning, this podcast contains sex, drugs, and some language that isn't suitable for anyone under 21 years of age, so you gotta have some ID. Before we get started, you'll need to YouTube my music video. Just close it. It's a hilarious bar satire and learning experience folded into one transvestite-filled musical extravaganza, which isn't something you hear every day. And, let's be honest, you'll also need a drink. For this one, I recommend the Jack Bauer. Pour a 1/4 ounce of vodka and light rum into a mixing glass. Add 3/4 of an ounce of Glenfiddich. Yes, ick. It's not the Loch Ness Monster. 3/4 of an ounce of Jack Daniels and drop into a pint glass half full of IPA and chug. Actually, fuck that. It sounds awful and I don't recommend it. I was just trying to do something episode appropriate and I googled Jack Bauer cocktail and boom, some asshole bartender who probably does flair and breathes fire invented it. Douche nozzle. Anyway, since I know my listeners have self-respect, let's make something tasty. Let's fuck around a little. Fill a mixing tin with 1.5 ounces of vodka. I don't know, Grey Goose, Belvedere, whatever you like. Add 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime, and here's the move. Scoop a watermelon until you get 2.5 ounces of fresh watermelon juice. Shake the fucking shit out of that and dirty dump into a Collins glass and top with soda water. Should be delicious. That drink has nothing to do with the upcoming story, but it'll be amazeballs. And, as always, if you don't have any of that shit around, a shot of El Jimador and a key bump of Peruvian marching powder will suffice. Stay snorty, my friends. Okay, on with the story. It was an innocuous Friday afternoon when I arrived at Dimple's karaoke bar around 4 to open for 5. Of course, I was exhausted from the nights, plural, before, and I was in a horrible mood. I entered through the back door, dreading the challenge of opening the fickle safe recessed into the kitchen floor, schlepping ice, turning on the million TVs with our makeshift universal remote, which was a slab of 6 remotes duct-taped together, and scooping out pretzels into wooden bowls from the plastic bins by the booth that unwashed hands exiting the bathroom shamelessly scooped out throughout the night. What did my life come to? Strangely, Sal, the owner's down-market limo with the bumper sticker, "Follow me to Dimples," was parked in the back lot and the back door was open. Great. He was here. He'd see how fucked up I still was in the stark light of the afternoon. I was hoping I wouldn't see him until I was drunk at 9:30. Shit. I had Jimmy Eat World's Bleed American blaring in my ears, hoping muscle memory would carry the day. I'm on my feet, I'm on the floor, I'm good to go, was my lyrical inspiration. As I walked in, karaoke was already blasting through the house speakers, being sung horribly and drowning out my current motivational theme song. What the fuck? Was I late? Nope. I couldn't take dissonance this early. Usually on Friday, the first singer didn't kick things off till 5:30, with my misanthropic regulars all perusing the songbooks until someone mustered the courage to break the ice and take the stage. Seriously, it was like a bunch of junior high boys nutting up and asking a girl to dance. I walked through the kitchen and into the bar and was not prepared for what I saw. Sal, the boss, lips caked in red wine, was beaming, as Kiefer Sutherland was behind the bar with his foot up on the speed rack, crooning Sal's favorite Sinatra tune, My Way, to an audience of 5 20-somethings seated at the bar. He had a glass filled with 4 fingers of whiskey neat in one hand, the mic and a cigarette burning between his fingers in the other. At first I was taken aback, starstruck. A lost boy, a regulator, Jack fucking Bauer, was standing on the slatted planks behind my bar. Then, I got pissed, 'cause my bar was a fucking mess and he was in my fucking way. I cast a fake smile back at Sal, who cast me a, "Hey, how about this, kid?" expression, proud of this drop-in. Kiefer was smashed. I waited for the song to end, ice buckets fatiguing my already fatigued arms. I'd been thrusting for hours in a push-up with a girl on a Blue Diamond Phillips just hours before, and frankly, I wasn't in the mood to kiss celebrity ass. Luckily, Kiefer was cool as fuck, and when the song came to a close, he holstered the mic in the dock attached to the back bar and said, "I'm in your way." "This is a non-union job," I said. He chuckled a bit and came out from behind the bar and pulled up a stool in front. Sal fetched Kiefer a DVD of his performance as he downed his glass of booze. "I'm Kiefer," he said, extending his hand. "Greg, nice to meet you," I said, offering a firm grip. "Mind hitting me with a VO neat and a Coke back?" "It'd be my pleasure," I said. "That'll be on my tab," Sal commanded. It's so fucked up how every rich celebrity is exempt from paying for anything at the expense of the less fortunate. But I digress. I poured out my ice, fetched my juices, and cut my fruit while I shot shit with he and his entourage. Turns out, they were there to celebrate the engagement of his daughter to some kid from the UK. I want to say he was Scottish, and I'm pretty sure this was the continuation of a party that had started at least a day before. At least. They continued to take turns singing for the hour before we opened as I set myself up for a humdinger. I knew in addition to the typical Friday onslaught, there'd be a tsunami of T9 word, "Hey, Kiefer Sutherland is at Dimples," text messages, swarming cell towers and attracting a hive of gawkers, paparazzi, and karaoke enthusiasts alike. Luckily, I was in tip-top physical condition to endure the upcoming punishment. Not. I'd normally blame God for the timing, but I knew I did this to myself. Again. Sal sat Kiefer family and friends in the VIP booth by the stage, hidden away from the incoming citizenry, and the clock struck 5. My irregular misanthropes filed in, pretending to be nonplussed, but all too eager to perform for Kiefer, as the eternal flame of their hope to be discovered for their yet undiscovered talent still burned. Ah, how Neverland never fails to disappoint. The wannabe actress servers arrived, tripping all over themselves and their words, hiking up skirts, knotting up shirts, and chirping amongst themselves about how they all wished they'd be the one he'd take home. Fame. It's a superpower. Before 7, there was a line. For all their enthusiasm, the thing about Angelinos is that they'll all clamor for a look at a celebrity while simultaneously pretending not to care, and never asking for an autograph or a picture, as they all like to think that they've been there before. It was so busy, I was getting butt-fucked so hard I knew that the next day I'd be shitting frisbees, to half-quote some Steven Seagal movie. The crowd swelled, and so did Kiefer's buzz. Before long, I needed a new bottle of VO, which was impressive, since the first bottle was full, as no one else was drinking Seagrams, and no one ever does. It's kind of like that bottle of Galliano that serves more as a security implement than a Harvey Wallbanger ingredient. It's basically a glass bat. If Kiefer was trying to keep a low profile, that was pretty much over with when the crowd cheered wildly. I looked over to the stage, and next to some dude trying to sing his song, the Sambora to his Bon Jovi, stood Kiefer, with his jeans around his ankles, dancing in circles in his tighty whities. It was fucking hilarious. And fucking weird. Then, it just became weird. It's because he did it to practically every singer. Then he started sitting in other people's booths, trow dropped. Seriously, Google Kiefer Sutherland dimples if you doubt me, and you'll get an eyeful of my night. Next thing I knew, another famous person whose name I shouldn't mention was sitting at my bar with his girl. It has nothing to do with the story, but I will tell you, they were supposedly on the wagon but ordered several Patron shots, falling off that wagon at terminal velocity. 2 weeks later, his girl was taken into police custody for throwing a glass at his face in Vegas. Alcohol. It's not for everyone, even if you gleam the cube. Wink, nod. Kiefer's antics went on through the night and apparently continued after close as the chef Roberto discovered he and his gang at the Shell station across from NBC lying on the pavement under the canopy by the gas tanks, refusing to get into the car circa 2:45 a.m. Oh yeah, pants pulled down. It's a thing. Drinking. Some people laugh, some yell, some cry, some fight, some puke, some can't stay in pants. The next night, this super charming British guy came in and sat at my bar. We started chatting, and there's something about the British accent that disarms you. You overshare, you offer free drinks, you give them your country. It's hypnotic. I mention this because the owner Sal had this rule about celebrities coming into the bar, and it's that you never talk about it. This is because it'll deter other celebrities from dropping in. They like a place they can go unwind, relatively discreetly. You know, a walk around in your tighty whities kind of bar. Meanwhile, I couldn't tell this guy the entire story fast enough. He was there at opening, and I finally had an excuse to talk to someone besides my usual gang of misanthropes. He was spellbound. He asked me questions along the way, totally on the edge of his bar stool. When I finished the story, the British guy, Neil, asked, "Greg, what's your social security number?" "I'm sorry?" I asked. He was filling out some kind of taxi invoice thing, then busted out a checkbook. "I'm the editor for Star Magazine, and you're getting $350 for that story." And with that, he tore the check out and handed it to me. It was such a cheap and dirty move, and I was so grateful for it. "Here's my card," he said. "If anyone of note comes in, do give me a call," he said. That would absolutely be against the number one celebrity rule Sal had decreed. Never rat out a celebrity drop-in. Never. "Absolutely," I said. "I'm your guy." God, I'm such an asshole. But money's money. If you don't want attention, stop being famous. It's not that hard. Look at the cast of 16 Candles. Old reference, millennials, but the main dude quit showbiz to... never mind. Throughout the rest of the year, I'd duck into the bathroom to report the arrivals of Keanu Reeves, Britney Spears, Lou Diamond Phillips, Tobey Maguire, Jessica Simpson, who can't sing her own songs, by the way, and other drop-ins, and got 100 a pop. It was great until Sal got wind of it and gave me a raise to cut it out. "Jesus, kid, if you need more money, man up and ask," he said. He paid me, and I cut it out. Funny thing, after the Kiefer underwear night, I ran into him at the Formosa Cafe months later, and he'd had a head start drinking. His arm was in a sling. I joined him in the parking lot, which is where the smokers were banished, and I lit up. I reminded him of our meeting at Dimples, and he laughed, recalling the night. "What happened to your arm?" I asked. "I was in London and fell down the stairs helping the bouncer throw this guy out of a bar," he said. I let that breathe, then let it go where it wanted to. "Were you the guy?" I asked. After a couple seconds, he came back with, "Yeah." They don't make them like that anymore, you guys. Well, it's last call, so let me give you a tip. Unless you can name one of the two landlords on Three's Company, have your fucking ID out. And Arizonans won't understand this because their state is brilliant and keeps them away from the DMV for a quarter century, but for fuck's sake, don't give me an expired one. Be an adult. Go to the DMV. And no, you don't fucking smile for your license picture. Why? Because you want to look the same way you look when you're pulled over. You asshole. Folks, it's been a blast. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And a call to my fellow booze slingers. Send in your stories to cocktales@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. Thanks for listening, subscribing, downloading, and spreading the word. Don't be afraid to give me a good review, even if you're lying. We'll see you next week on Behind Bars, Cocktails, and Wasted Nights. Cheers!